Hi everybody, I'm Ryan, that's Baby Puke, and today we're going to talk about how to sideboard against the top 10 most popular decks in Pioneer with Yorion Fires. Yorion Fires has become pretty successful of late with the rise of Red Black Midrange and Phoenix, the deck's two best matchups. And in the video I posted yesterday, I talked about how to play the deck, card choices, all of that stuff, and this is just going to be focused on how to sideboard with my 75 for Yorion Fires. Let's jump into it. So this is my Yorion Fires 75. I explained a lot of the card choices in the deck again that was posted yesterday. You should check that out. But we're going to jump right into talking about why I'm playing a lot of cards in the sideboard. Because really this is kind of a silver bullet deck. And so we don't do a ton of sideboarding in a lot of matchups. Just sideboarding into more silver bullets or interaction as needed. That being said, we're playing 2 Rest in Peace. It's a decent enchantment to be sacking to Enigmatic Incarnation, it being 2 mana, you know, if really need be. But we side it in against the graveyard decks like Phoenix and Greasefang and stuff like that. And an Eidolon of Rhetoric, 3 mana 1/4. Each player can't cast more than 1 spell on its turn. Really solid against Lotus, obviously, but also really good against Phoenix, meaning that they can just never ever trigger Ledger Shredder and can't ever trigger Phoenix to come back from the graveyard and things like that. Playing 3 Mystical Dispute, just for blue decks, Spirits and Control and, you know, Lotus and stuff like that. Playing 4 Rending Volley. Rending Volley is our big answer to like Amalia, which is a kind of a slightly bad matchup. It's decent against Phoenix and hitting Ledger Shredders and things like that. Also good against Greasefang. Speedo to just win these counter wars on the stack and have an ability against other combo decks. Our companion is Yorion. Makes our deck bigger so we can fit in more silver bullets with Enigmatic Incarnation. But also, it's just really good. Like, our deck is designed to go into the late game, and in the late game, if you bounce just a few things, most of our permanents do stuff when they enter the battlefield. You get a lot of value off of Yorion in this deck, why it's worth it to dilute our deck by playing 20 extra cards. And then we're playing a Nimble Larcenist. It's a 3 mana 2/1 with flying. When it enters the battlefield, target opponent reveals their hand. You choose an artifact, instant, or sorcery card from it and exile that card. Just decent hand destruction against, you know, these instant sorcery bleh decks. That being said, let's jump into how to sideboard against the most popular deck, which is Red Black Midrange. Red Black Midrange sideboard is really obvious. Everything in our deck's actually decent against Red Black. It is our dream matchup, except for Deputy Detention, because whenever we take something with Deputy Detention, they can kill it and just get it back. Skyclave Evaporation is a little bit better, just because at least they get back a Spirit, which we can just easily deal with. In fact, we'd love to deal with the Land Binding, but Deputy literally gives them the thing back, and they're removal spell deck. And so we need to get Deputy Detention out of our deck. There's nothing in our sideboard we really want. Again, our main deck is really built to beat Red-Black. So we're going to bring in Rampaging Ferocidon, which is probably the least bad thing to bring in. It's just like a decent beater. I can also see bringing in a Nimble Larcenist or something like that as well. Kind of depends on where you want to be there. The second most popular deck is Blue-White Control. Against Blue-White Control, we are looking to fight against their blue cards, their draw spells and counter spells and stuff like that. It's also like genuinely our worst matchup. Nimble Larcenist is also like reasonably solid. And we're going to be siding out of as many of our removal spells as possible, just because they don't really do that much. We're going to side in the Rampaging Ferocidon just so we can side out a 3rd Chain to the Rocks, because these cards just don't do anything. Sometimes they can snipe the cat if they side it in, or like the Angel card, I forgot what it's called. But really, they're often just dead. At least Leyline Binding can either hit a Planeswalker or be sacked into a big thing, but our 1-mana removal feels really dead. So while Rampaging Ferocidon isn't insane against the deck, we play it. So this is how we sideboard against Blue-White Control. The third most popular deck is it Phoenix? We're bringing in Mystical Disputes. They'll hit their Treasure Cruise and stuff like that. You hit 1 Treasure Cruise, often the game can be over. Similarly, if we ever play a Rest in Peace, the game can just be over, because there's a lot of cards that, like, you know, Treasure Cruise doesn't do anything anymore. Phoenix no longer comes back. It's just a 4-mana 3/2. Like, it's just all very solid. We're bringing in Rending Volleys. Being able to hit their, like, Ledger Shredders and stuff is actually very relevant to their game plan and them being able to play with us. And then Dovin's Veto is also excellent against this deck, being able to hit Treasure Cruise and whatnot. So, going to bring out Tolzamir. Often doesn't really kill anything, or if it does, it's something that can immediately come back, which is awful. Knight of Autumn just does nothing. Deputy Detention is super medium because they have just a million counter spells. Also, by the way, Rending Volley hits Crackling Drake. That's another big reason. And we're just siding out of stuff that, like, kind of doesn't do anything against the deck here. Those are our things that we could grab that don't really do anything. Actually, even like bringing out an Agent of Treachery or something. You can also shave on portable holes. Portable holes will basically only hit Ledger Shredder, which is great. We're siding the Rending Volleys, but they can't hit the Crackling Drake, and so really it's just Ledger Shredder that we can hit with Portable Hole, which we do not love at all. That is not very cash money. And then we're going to side out 2 Path of the World Tree. The game is not going to go hyper long unless we're already winning, so it's unlikely that we're activating Path of the World Tree. And the other 2 mana things are just a little bit better in being able to replace himself and draw a card. And so this is how I sideboard against Phoenix. The 4th most popular deck is Amalia. Against Amalia, we are siding in Dovin's Veto to be able to counter their Chord Collected Company and return to the ranks, which is really the way that they beat us. Same thing with bringing in Nimble Arsonist to be able to hit those things. And Rampaging Ferocidon, which is the big card that neuters our opponents, makes it so their combo doesn't work because they need to gain life to hit their combo. And then Rending Volley removes relevant cards in their deck. We're going to be siding out of Night of Autumn. It doesn't really hit anything at all. Same thing with Kutziel's Flanker. Kutziel's Flanker is actually awesome. Archon Sun's Grace doesn't really do much either. And I actually like taking out Fires of Invention. Often this deck can just be so fast that we die super quickly, and then tapping out for Fires of Invention into often some a one of that doesn't really matter is kind of just bad. And then similarly, we're taking out 2 Path of the World Tree. This is the worst of our 2 drops. So I sideboard against Amalia. The 5th most popular deck is Lotus Field. This is a Hidden Strings combo deck. We are bringing in a Rest in Peace because that can slow them down. So it means they can't use their graveyard. Mystical Dispute counters a lot of cards in their deck. Eidolon of Rhetoric just totally neuters their deck. Dovin's Veto counters their deck. And Nimble Arsonist can break up the combo as well. We're bringing out Chain to the Rocks because they do literally nothing. And then we're going to side out of a Skyclave Apparition. Deputy Detention is kind of cool because it can hit big dumb creatures that they might want to play. Skyclave can't. And so this is how I sideboard against Lotus Field. The 6th most popular deck is the Mirror Match, in fact. In the Mirror, we are bringing in Mystical Dispute, or Enigmatic Incarnation, and some random other stuff. Bringing in Doan's Video because it can counter the relevant cards. The enchantments. We're bringing out Kutziel's Flanker, just kind of does nothing. We're going to bring out Portable Hole because, I can hit these things, but I'd rather have better cards in my deck. And that's our sideboard. The 7th most popular deck is Mono Red Aggro. Against Mono Red, we are going to bring in some Dovin's Vetoes just because we just being able to hit a burn spell here or there is actually really solid. And Eidolon of Rhetoric is also pretty good. The issue is that they are pretty hyper aggressive. So we're going to, for similar reasons as a lot of other stuff, we're going to side out of the Fires. We just can't afford to have cards that don't do things in our deck. Fires can be good, but it's normally not. I would rather just cast the spell that we want to cast. It's all about slowing them down. So I sideboard against Mono Red. Oh, we also bring in the Nimble Arsonist. Whoops. My bad. So 4 Fires for these 4. So I sideboard against Mono Red. The 8th most popular deck is Rack Sack. Against Rakdos Sacrifice, we're going to sideboard the exact same as we did against normal Rakdos. Rampaging Ferocidon, and this one is definitely Rampaging Ferocidon, not Nimble Arsonist. Attention out. The 9th most popular deck is Quintorius. Against Quintorius combo, we bring in Eidolon because it means they can't do the combo. Bring in Dovin's Veto, counter the combo. Nimble Arsonist can break some stuff up, which is kind of cool. And we need to be able to interact with our opponent, but Portable Hole hits nothing. At all. So this is our sideboard against Ruga. 10th most popular in the last deck we're going to talk about how to sideboard against is Niv to Light. Against Niv to Light, we're bringing in Dovin's Veto. We're bringing in Mystical Dispute because it counters the relevant cards. Eidolon is really good against specifically Bring to Light, and same thing with Nimble Arsonist. I'm going to be bringing out Portable Hole. It hits very, 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 very little in this deck. Kutziel's Flanker really kind of does nothing, and same thing with Night of Autumn. Actually, I think Tolsimir really does anything either. So I sideboard against Niv to Light. So there you have how to sideboard against the top 10 most popular decks in Pioneer with Yorion Fires. If you like this video and want to see more videos like this, please be sure to like and subscribe. Check me out on social medias. Links are above me and in the description. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.